I'm gonna do this one. It's gonna be so quick, so easy. You know what I mean? I want to talk about Cynthia G real quick in her interview with Storm Monroe. I'm here in beautiful New York City transit system, New York City subway. Shout out to all the MTA workers putting in that bus down, whether it be through the pandemic or wherever they came through for. So we want to give them congratulations. But let me get on to some real shit, right? Cynthia G and Storm Monroe had an interview this recently. This recently is yesterday afternoon, and I caught this interview. I was live watching this interview. I was in the chat room, I was watching it, and I saw a lot of things that were said. Oh yeah. A lot of things that were said, a lot of contradictions, a lot of hypocrisy, and so on and so on and so forth. And I could spend all day with you breaking down every last one of them, but I'm gonna break down the ones that stuck out the most to me, right? The ones that just compelled me to want to do this live and talk about this because it was sickening, the things that were said. Let me take this off my face real quick. First of all, Cynthia G, how dare you get on live, talk about men of color in such a degrading way. First of all, we all pass that diatribe that you do on a regular, right? But this is the part that stuck out to me the most. At one part, as you were doing your whole male bashing diatribe filled in toxic masculinity, right? Toxic femininity. Toxic masculinity is what they always accuse us of. Well, your whole diatribe with toxic femininity, you left out one particular thing that you tried to avoid. It might be the segue to why you feel the way you feel. You see, Cynthia G didn't grow up with a father in her house, and when posed with the question, she decided to further degrade her own father on camera. Her own father. Storm Monroe joined in on the degradation, and he degraded his own father, even though his father was in the house. Now, this is natural, I would guess, because Storm Monroe, for most people that speculate or may think it is, or at the very least, I would go as far as to say a feminine man. At the very least. Let's just say at the very least, he's a feminine man. Okay, he's a feminine man. But motherfucker, you're a black dude. And this is where the whole story gets contrived. Now, I don't know if Storm did this interview and Storm was just riding on her in his own little way. That's a possibility. That is a possibility. It could be a possibility if Storm Monroe was just interviewing her. He said, you know what, for shits and giggles, let's see what she got to talk about. That could be a possibility. That could be a possibility. But I don't think so. Another contradiction that came into play was from Storm Monroe himself. When Storm Monroe started discussing his own father, and one of the diatribes that goes in the manosphere, the pill society, depending on what pill you choose to take, was this: that many men are now venting the women that they date, or perceive or potentially want to date. Many men are venting a lot of women because a lot of women are going on dates just because they're hungry. Yes, you heard me correctly. Women are going on dates in America. Not all women. Not no women of gumption. Not no women of, tier. But there's many women that are going on dates via your Tinders and everything else because, quite simply, they just want a dinner date. Shout out to the hustlers. Shout out to the hustlers. Storm Monroe attempted to, I think, what he wanted to do was break the ice. It could be a possibility that he wanted to join forces with her. I don't know. That's up to everybody else inside. But one thing I do know was I was disturbed by this interview. In one part of the interview, she alludes, well, she says it quite frankly, that children of color should be aborted, especially the male children. This is what she said. That sounds like eugenics to me, Margaret Sanger. That is the talk that Margaret Sanger had at one time. Margaret Sanger, who is what's called a grandmother of Planned Parenthood. Many of you girls of color don't know that. This old white woman at one time, she declared that all the little retarded babies, all the little babies that were brown, just brown, don't matter what nationality, just brown. And her ideology stuck around the world for a minute with many different implementations of this whole type of sterile movement, where in this sterile movement, certain babies are predestined to be born. We like to call them designer babies, using CRISPR and things like that. She wasn't smart enough to understand CRISPR. CRISPR is a gene editing software that was developed really in China more than decade ago now. And this is being utilized now in the European markets and everywhere else as far as studies. But this could be the game changer right there. So when she alludes to eugenics, I got a problem with that, sweetheart. Where are you going with this? And if I don't exist anymore, what happens to you? There was a whole bunch of this diatribe in there about hating men of color, why you should date out or whatever. Meanwhile, this bitch sat in a one-bedroom apartment. She wasn't sitting in Stamford, Connecticut, where I live at. She wasn't sitting in Greenwich. She wasn't sitting in upstate New York. She wasn't sitting in Long Island, Rosedale, any of these places. No, she was sitting in a quaint little hovel of a one-bedroom apartment talking the most shit about money. The shit don't make shit. Make it make sense, Sway. You sitting in a one-bedroom apartment and you talking about money, you ain't got no money. You're looking for somebody to take care of you, you bum bitch. That's the real target here. See, this whole campaign that Cynthia G is doing is all about attention. Getting the attention of that one super simp that's monetarily equipped. Do you understand what I mean by that? That super simp. Baby, don't worry, I'm coming to save you. Da 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 da. Let me get my cape. The super simp. The man that most men, no matter what motherfucking color you are, would love to beat the shit out of. This is the guy that caters to all women, grew up with all women. Every example of masculinity around this boy was from mama, her sisters, and granny. So of course he act like a bitch, or react like a bitch, identify with chicks and everything else as he's a grown man. Of course he does. Of course he switches his hips when he walks. Of course when he hears a joke and it's involving a whole bunch of girls, he's one of the motherfuckers laughing. This is an effeminate man. You understand? So I understand what Cynthia G is doing, but where you fucked up yesterday, sweetheart, was you said you grew up without a daddy. So if you grew up without a daddy, how do you understand men of color in depth? It don't make no sense. We got a black woman that grew up without a daddy out here rallying and talking about men of color in general, and she made it all inclusive. She said black men and black men. The male should be aborted. She said this live on the cast. Now I don't flag people, but that moment I was about to flag that shit, and to back my claim up and say that this is not just speculation, there was somebody in the comments section that asked the same question. What the fuck is going on here? Jackie? Give me 1 second. This is the real New York City slide and slide right here. You understand? We got trains coming in. 1 second. I'm going to get back to the Cynthia G story, bro. I'm going to do this for about 20 minutes and I'm going to get back into what I was doing. What I want y'all to understand is this. Cynthia G has supporters. Being that this interview was taken on Storm Monroe's channel, it made it easy for me to believe that these are also the village of Storm Monroe supporters. They feel the same exact way. You don't understand what I mean. So the same way that Cynthia G feels, this is the way that a lot of them Cynthia filling out the trains here in New York City Transit line, so it takes a little second. At this point, it is fair to say that if Cynthia G feels that way, when Storm Monroe had on his show yesterday, and Storm Monroe usually goes by celebrity gossip and things like that or whatever. Who's out on the check-in right there? TMH, what's going on, brother? Hey, TMH, we screaming on a new phone, man. I don't know if you saw it or not or whatever, but I really got it. I got the S20 FB, man. We got the 4K, everything going or whatever. So this is my first official stream with this new device, and I'm loving it. I love the cameras, angles on it. The camera quality, as you guys can see, is way better. So, you know what I'm saying? And that was 4K. The difference is I got 4K 60 frames here. It was 4K and 30 frames at the other one. It makes a good enough difference, especially at 120 motherfucking hertz. We ain't at 90. We ain't capped no more. That's all I'm saying, y'all. So TMH Global, thank you for your donations, brother. And everybody else, please be encouraged to donate. The donation links are in the description box. That's Springer Bell 80. $STRINGERBELL80 at StringerBell80 and Cash App. And also, guys, you can go down. There's another link in the description box for PayPal. Also, you can purchase my single. My single is available in the description box. Please purchase that. If anything, this is my first Christmas, and wow, not being fucking homeless. I just run through here when I was fucked up. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's a different type of holiday for me this year. You know, so I appreciate that, y'all. Who else is in here? That's what's up. Now you get your, yeah, and actually I'm gonna do better than that. I'm gonna do better than that. I set it up. I just had talked to you. So let me know if the email is the best way to get in contact with you, and I'll just send you an email. Either I'll tag you in here, right here, because guys, I don't even front. Like, I just moved into a new place. I'm in there by myself. The shit is hollow. I went to my man's spot tonight, and I was like, yo, your shit look nice, nigga. Work my shit up now so I can have you over and shit. So, yeah, guys, anything you can donate, $5, $10, whatever, just throw it in there. I'm going to be here in New York for a little while. I'm going to live with you guys a couple of times so through the day. I'm going to get hungry and shit like that. So throw something in Cash App or whatever. Now, back to Storm, Monroe, and Tasha. Excuse me, not Tasha K, because I don't want to put Tasha K in that bullshit, because I would hope Tasha K would ever interview this motherfucker. But I'm going to go back to talking about her and Storm Monroe. And why I think Storm Monroe is one of the problems right now, because it's almost like you're enabling her to do more. You get what I'm saying? And what I mean by being an enabler is, if you allow this woman to use your platform to bash other men of color, then that means, my man, you involved in that shit too. And how can that be if you're a gay man? You know, because everybody's alluded to Storm's been his sexuality for some time now. I'm not saying that I feel either way or, but when I have a woman echoing the same sentiments of Margaret Sanger, eugenics, and selected birthing and shit like that that's echoed across the world for a long time, I get kind of nervous when I hear talk like that, because I know there's some people out here that will pick up on those ideals, and just like this broad from my city, Candace Owens, they will use shit like that and use your ass as a springboard for their advertisements. And I wish more women of color were so smart. If you're so smart, figure that shit out. Men know how other men use each other. Sometimes we allow ourselves to be used because it'll put us in a better position. But there's no better position coming out of this shit right here. What you're asking for is someone to say. That's what I got out that interview. And you're taking it from a perspective of a woman that has never grown up in a house with a father. Therefore, you have some type of rhetoric in you that's burning fire. You didn't mention that side baby of yours either. That's another thing I found out and I watched. Because when Storm said something like he said it to the content of this, like Cynthia hasn't chosen to elect to have babies, or you could be. She's not saying, he was trying to defend her actual quote when she said this, right? I'm sorry, my buddy. Everyone in that chat, out of those thousands of people, and I'd have been there, I had thousands in my live too. My live I'm doing about Alpo, and Alpo passed away. It's one of my biggest lives I ever did. We had 2,600 people in the chat room, over 54,000 views live. Okay, this wasn't after the rebroadcast. We had over 54,000 views live. So I'm very, very ecstatic about that. I'm very, very happy about that, all right? Now, one of the funniest things that I see here that's funnier than anything was this. When Cop did that question about the abortion question, Storm mentioned, he said, well, you could elect like Cynthia and not have no kids at all. She got a side baby by one of her commenters in her comment section that already pre-existently had 4 kids by 3 different women that damn near you baby number 4 and that's baby number 5 for him. Huh? You talking about selective breeding? That's what she was encouraging, selective breeding. She said selective breeding tactics. Do you mean to imply you're telling me these women now and you're throwing this wrap on your head and got rid of the weave, you threw these little perturbed glasses on so you can invoke some type of perception that you're intelligent, but an intelligent woman wouldn't waste her time with shit like that. You, just like Candace Owens, are whiny little fucking girls. My Little Pony all grown the fuck up. These are spoiled little girls that 9 times out of 10, they were the only kid in the household, or they were always attended to, or they were allowed to do bullshit their whole entire life and get away with it. And now they're all grown fucking up, and they want to play with us, man. Well, you know what? I don't want to join in on that fucking sandbox, lady. I don't want to be in that sandbox. You keep your sandbox to yourself, okay? And all the fucking scorpions and everything else is there. What's going on, T-Baby G? One of the other funnier parts of the interview was when a fucking spider landed on her fucking head. I said, that's your bad soul invoking Elvira. Cruella DeVille. Let go of the puppies, Cruella. Let go of the puppies, Cynthia. Oh, this is a different brand right here. We all want to talk about toxic masculinity. The most I hear from the red pill circle is, hey, they them bras alone, invent them when you date them. They might be using you for a date. They might be using you for a month. That's the most I hear. I don't never hear one of these motherfuckers sitting around talking about, hey, you need to start aborting motherfucking female, black, and Latinx. That's the key. That's the full key to assimilation. And white folks, I wish you would have the gall and the grog to come out and tell these motherfuckers to their face, look, we know you brown noses. Stop licking my ass to get the job. I'ma hire you anyway, motherfucker. You ain't gotta sit around and act like you grew up in the same neighborhood I did, because you did. I know you didn't because I lived there. White folks, don't be scared to tell, look, Jaquan, I know you're kissing my ass right now. Try that, white folks, just one day. Just be like, the same blunt way, I grew up around Italians and Greeks in Connecticut, all right? The same blunt way you are amongst each other. Be that blunt with some of your motherfucking minority coworkers, minority friends. Be like, just one day, just be like, hey, Jaquan, hey, Mario, why the fuck are you kissing my ass so much? Can you look around you? I don't have much. All this shit is in fucking lease, including the equipment that you kiss my ass to work for me. That's leased. And I'm in debt. These women, like Cynthia G, they're pandering to a certain crowd. And that crowd is growing. The crowd that's growing is this crowd of, I want to be famous on YouTube. The problem is, half of you motherfuckers ain't got a story like the big YouTubers like us. Y'all don't have stories. I see so many people comment on my page. I got thousands of followers on here. I mean, y'all can see my count number. Thousands. Not a few thousand, either thousands. And I see motherfuckers that been on YouTube for 12, 13 years, got the most to say. Most of the supporters are like this. And there's a lot of fake profiles over there too. But I'm gonna go back into the interview and I digress. This woman is setting up the rotation because the women that were calling in, the women that were fucking commenting, including some of them sissy ass men that were on there too, which is going to be a whole total little different segment, because I got to talk about these sissy ass men, including Storm Monroe's sissy ass for conducting that interview the way you did. You conducted that interview, Storm. You don't know how much motherfucking shit you got. You should have rolled that. This was a one time for you to prove that you was a real motherfucking rider here on this YouTube ecosphere, and you failed epically. You let that motherfucking chick run you. You let her run your show. You let her tell you who she was going to take as a caller. You let her run it like a, and the first thing everybody was looking for in a motherfucker like Storm Monroe was to be like, hold up, bitch. I was waiting for Storm Monroe to do that. But you let this weak ass woman, based off the fact that your newfound situations, because for many of y'all it's new. I can look at Cynthia G and tell Cynthia G don't come from the world that we were circled around in the entertainment industry. You understand what I'm saying? I'll even go as further as to say you will never make the ranks of our motherfucking system. That much I can assure you. Because as I'm letting people know who the fuck you are, I let somebody in the industry see you yesterday. And they were like, what the fuck is this shit? And they opened it up right when, because I had taken the headphones off. So they opened it up right at that point when you was talking about abortion. You see what one of the comments got to say. If you don't like her talking points, call her to a live. No, baby. No. Listen, I don't have to. I want to read this out for you guys so you hear this. If you don't like her talking points, call her live and debate. This video just proves her point. You be bussy popping. Shit, let me tell you something. If you really want to put it in context, bitch, I'll fuck you. I'll bend you over a fucking round and I'll rail your fucking head in and I'll skull fuck you until you like it. Does that sound like somebody? Hey, see, that's your go-to. You guys want to sit back, you want to argue, you want to talk. Haven't you noticed? I've gotten all those views on that fucking video that I did. It was only a minute long, right? I want to answer to her contention. I did a video about Cynthia G. It was a minute long. I wasn't talking about Cynthia G. See, the power doesn't lie in Cynthia G. or me debating Cynthia G. Cynthia G has a right to talk about whatever she wants to. But my point is, in your little diatribe, with your little answer, your little comment right there, now that all my commenters see, it just proves my point. That a lot of you women are hurt little girls, all grown up. And you're looking for men to cater to you, and you want to do it by force. You cannot force a motherfucker to fuck with you. Me as a guy, I know if a whole bunch of guys on the other side of town don't fucking like me, I cannot go over there and force those guys to fuck with me because I feel bad within myself. No, that's your motherfucking low self-esteem, not mine. I'm a man in society. You understand what I'm saying? There's not been a first black woman president. There's been a first black male president. And people elected. Hillary Clinton, do you remember her results? And she was a white woman. I am sick and tired of women that have not been as accomplished as me, women that grew up in sheer, utter fucking poverty, women like Cynthia G that grew up with no father, yet still you get on a daily diatribe, take donations and everything else from other skewed women that grew up without a father too, and you sit on and you suggest that now black male babies should be aborted. And you use a sissy-ass black man to storm and roll and do it. And now you got the stream up and you got it rolling. But at the same time, you're masking the whole conversation behind black power. That's not black power, that's called a eugenics, and that's called destruction. And when she gets done with what she wants to get done, if successful, she will take that African turban off, she will take those perturbed glasses off, she will take that little pretty little red lipstick off, and she will turn around and she will adopt a European look, and she will go try to get next door to a white woman, and most of the people in white society are going to look at this broad and be like, I can tell you don't come from around us. I didn't fully grow up like them, and I grew up around mostly Italians and fucking Greeks on the shoreline in Connecticut, and I can tell you straight up and down, yes, there are differences. Do we unilaterally get along? Fuck yeah. Those are my friends. I've known them all my fucking life. But I know the difference between that and a person that grew up in the hood as well, because I've lived both sides of the spectrum. I didn't grow up bad. I grew up very well. Last place I lived in, my mother lived in corporate apartments. We had a fireplace, fucking Olympic-sized pool, fucking, what else, sauna, everything else. And I put up pictures of the place before. We grew up very nice. I've never grown up in bad environments, me or my siblings. But the problem is, you got a lot of people, because we have this free outlet of YouTube, and that's another difference with me. People knew about me before YouTube. I was in the record industry for 17 years. You can't beat me with that one. My resume sits alone. People within the industry still speak of me and speak good of me. I'm a good man, and I know lots of other opulent good men just like me. So for you to clump us together with a whole bunch of hood boogers, that's the same thing. And I'm not talking about hood boogers just because you motherfuckers out hustling. Hood booger because a motherfucker speaks slang. I'm talking about a hood booger is a motherfucker that will go out and shoot when there's 3-year-old, 4-year-old kids around. A hood booger is a motherfucker that has no morals, will knock a old woman down as he's robbing an old man. That's what I'm talking about. I think the hood can do without them. If you hustling, just get some money or whatever, I know that's right. Get your money. Get your money. I understand you need your lights on, nigga. It's cold out this motherfucker. Fuck all that. Where you going, baby? I'll be back, bitch. I said I'll be back, shit. Go ahead and make some. Sure, I'll be back. What you want? You want something from the store? You want those Skittles you like? Y'all know what I'm talking about. No, this is not about debating Cynthia G. I get no rouse in debating Cynthia G. If anything, Cynthia G will get aroused in debating me. I have no reason to debate Cynthia G or sit back and discuss differences with Cynthia G. That's like me. That's like Medusa and I don't know. Medusa and Give me somebody out of Greek mythology. I don't know. That's like Medusa and Pegasus argument. You know what I mean? It makes no sense. Like, I don't know. Hermaphrodisites, whoever. Whatever your Greek deity or whatever, I got a brain for it right now. It's like me debating somebody like that. I'm not going to debate somebody like that. This is somebody that uses sarcasm, uses quick-witted talk points, snarky talk points that really, in large regard, make no sense or whatever of anything. Nobody cares except for that little Negro spectral circle. That's it. And that's my problem. There were too many people in there, too many women agreeing with those fucking talking points. Like Reverend in Harlem. What's wrong with y'all? What's wrong with you? You niggas is crazy. You niggas is crazy. Now, you know, we get online all the time, and I've been about the business, and I've been in the streets before and all that shit, did time over and everything. I make no amends about it. Also went to college after I got out of that shit for the second time, and I've done all of it. We made the papers. I made the front page paper 2 times, all that. Yo, my man's over here. I did all that. We shot at guys, we had pistols, we did all that stuff, all right? I'm an old guy now. But we did all that stuff. We did it for real, had FBI charges, all kinds of stuff. Got caught with a lot of money. Now, that being said, that if you like to reiterate that and revisit that, I actually did a little video that has 8 pages of my motherfucking record. So, and this is when you had to be outside. Now you ain't got to be outside. You had to be outside. 24 hours a day, rain, sleet, snow, you go. So don't talk to me about that shit, all right? I'm way past that. When I talk about somebody like Cynthia G, I talk about somebody like Cynthia G because you grew up with no father. You have a man that grew up with a father, reiterating and reverberating your words. And all those are to degradate men of color. And I'm asking, what is the reason? And should we let somebody like this freely, and I'm not talking about, I've seen the petitions against you, I didn't sign. Because I think inside of you, Cynthia, I think it's a hurt little girl. Who hurt you? Like y'all chicks like to say, who hurt you? You want to look at the psychology of everybody else and put them under a microscope except for you and your own gender. And that's called being a hypocrite. And any man that gets on and supports comments bashing men like this, well, you're a punk and a sissy. And Storm, we know about your little punk ass pistol or whatever. Storm, let me tell you something. These boys out here running around with AR-15s and semi-automatics, all right? They would shoot that little pussy ass pistol out your hand as you lift it. Don't get cocky. You're not from the streets. You gay, okay? You a homosexual. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not a gangster, all right? I know some gangsters right over here in my own neighborhood that will let you and prove that to you. Come over here with that little punk ass pistol. Ever Cynthia with the little punk ass pistols. But this is the same girl to get a lot. And I would like to say, and this is a funny thing, she talks like a European white girl. She tries so hard to talk like a white woman, but you want to be so far removed from a white woman. So could you add a little slang? See, there's ways of being articulate. So I know. There's ways of being articulate. That was one of the reasons I stuck out amongst all my fucking classmates. And a few other guys too. I'm not going to just hone on myself. You got to learn how to articulate your natural voice with what you've learned. And little quick talking points you watch from watching history videos on fucking YouTube, or she tried to describe the Berber slave trade. It said that the Moors were kissing the Italians and Greeks' ass. Well, of course they would, Cynthia G. They came into their lands as invaders, their lands. Just like the Spaniards came into the Caribbean and invaded the Tainos and invaded the Arawaks and mixed with them. Just like in Cuba, don't you ever in your fucking life, tú sabes, esta puta sucia madera, tú sabes, la grita, don't you ever in your fucking life talk about Cuba. You don't know nothing about fucking Cuba. Nothing about Cuba. So don't ever speak about Cuba ever again in your diatribe, talking about, well, most of the people down there, that is not how most of the people, 80% of Brazil is black. 80% of Brazil. Portuguese-speaking country, nevertheless, but Latin. Invaded by the Germans, invaded by the Dutch, and a few other European nationalities. You know nothing about what you're talking about. Don't ever in your fucking life talk about Cuba, okay? I said some Cubans for you, bitch. Let's see what y'all writing in here. Empires are built in silence. Social media is one stream of income for empires, all ethnic groups, including melanated black men and women. Agreed. See what it means when it comes to violence with us? Wow. TMH Global. Peace. What's going on, 305 Capricorn? Now, I was just going by what Indigo Eyes or whatever her name said, and I just want to build off that because it's not fair. It's not fair. And if you're talking against me, which side do you ride on? So what I'm validating and what I'm saying to myself and saying to you is Storm Monroe being an enabler of her and let her use his platform yesterday with his hundreds of thousands of followers. I would say that you're not only an enabler, but you just share the same fucking sentiment that she does. So now, nigga, you a target. You don't understand. All that shit you said yesterday, she can get away with it because she's a female. You a man, and you were sitting there agreeing with that shit. You were sitting there backing her up, and you were enabling her to say more, all for the sake of you. So now, motherfucker, we got to come see you. You don't get a pass because you had a female on. That ain't how this works. That ain't how it works. You thought that's how it works? Yeah, you definitely ain't from the street, boy. You definitely ain't. I'm gonna learn today, though. I'm gonna learn today. You fucked up, boy. You fucked up. Now, give me 1 second, y'all, some train. I'm not encouraging anybody to go kill Storm Monroe. I'm not encouraging anybody to do anything to Storm Monroe. But like I said, the winds and the tides are gonna fall where they are, and that motherfucker's gonna have to answer for this interview. Now, just like the one you did, and you did the rebuttal video for me and then put it on private, if your ass was smart, put the shit on private. You'll still retain the views. But Poppy, you don't want this shit right here hanging out. Oh, no. You should have saw, as smart as you are, Storm, you should have saw what was going to be coming back from you and how much fucking explaining you was going to have to do. Because even if it ain't clicking with everybody right now, Pop, even though it ain't clicking with everybody else right now, I'm going to tell you this much. It clicked with me, and it's more and more people see it on their popular channel. Okay? Just like my popular channel. They're going to see the views. And I want to make sure nobody's saying anything slick before I say this. You, my friend, are going to have a problem. Because other men are going to start questioning you and be like, hold on, you're encouraging the abortion rates to go up as a man? Huh? Hey, Sheila, what's going on? Y'all make sure y'all hit up the Cash App and hit that like button if y'all would, man. $STRINGERBELL80. That's another thing that disturbed me yesterday. Motherfuckers are sitting there donating to these two motherfuckers, and they sitting up there talking about the destruction of black and Latin male babies. And motherfucking women were donating to them. So don't talk to me about no donations, because you motherfuckers are making donations off the degradation of your own fucking people. Y'all don't see these tap shoe wearing motherfuckers. Y'all don't see these tap shoe motherfuckers for who they are. They don't give a fuck about you. They're using your example, your struggle, your oppression, and they're acting like they're the fucking cure. I'm more poison than most of these people love. I damn sure had a better career than half of these motherfuckers, this Johnny-come-lately YouTubers. I'm not from the YouTube atmosphere. I'm from the music industry. That's where everybody knows me from. 17 years I spent in it. I've been with 3 major record companies as distributors for our company. All right? So in comparison as fucking resumes are concerned, I beat you. And I didn't do it later on in life. I did this right after, by chance, running into a friend of mine. I still tell him to this day, you saved my life. Because like I said, I didn't grow up bad at all. I left from home, ran away from home, started running with the wrong guy, got caught up in some shit 2 times over, whatever. And probably 3 weeks after that happened, I ran into a friend of mine in Times Square, and he put me on. He was like, yo, come through, man. So I did. Sorry about that, y'all. The problem is, man, when you get guys like Storm Monroe, when you get guys or girls, whatever you might be wanting to call, like Cynthia G, the problem that exists at that point is this: whether or not and when do you take the necessary actions to shut these motherfuckers up, these unqualified motherfuckers? motherfuckers. These belligerent, arrogant, greedy, ambitious motherfuckers. And Storm, one more thing, don't you mention Tasha K when you talking to a motherfucking bitch like that, Cynthia G. Don't you ever in your motherfucking life talk about Tasha K and try to equate her into that shit. Tasha K, listen, Tasha K gets messy. I've had my little diatribes with Tasha K and her crowd. We subsided, we cool. You know, I have a problem with her. I even gave her a thumbs up, shared a couple of her posts. That's exciting. Me and Tasha K were arguing about Starship, the shit that was going on with Jaguar Right, shit like that. We were arguing about Starship. That's my realm. I come from the music industry. So of course, I'm gonna defend Jaguar Right. You understand what I'm saying? That's one of my co-peers. But Tasha K ain't never did no dirty shit like that. This is a new level for a black woman. You understand? Of this segment, of this decree. Because this is not a lateral thought process. Now I'm gonna tell you what some more hypocritical shit come in. Since the abortion rights era, which is the early 1980s, black women and Latin women, because of advertisement, mostly, this is why I have a problem with that whole eugenics suggestion, including abortion that was thrown from Cynthia G yesterday in her little diatribe, where she was asked, live on camera about, and Storm Monroe tried to move real quick past it like the bitch had said. That bitch got a side baby by a viewer. And now that baby growing up with no daddy, or weekend daddy. Y'all sitting up there applauding this chick. She adding on to the problem. And she pulling the wool out of all y'all's head. She pulling the wool, man. She had, if you wouldn't have a side baby, and you say you're about building the culture, building the beat, or at least that's the mass behind what you high behind. If you about building the culture, right? But you wouldn't have a side baby in a non-traditional nuclear family structure. So therefore, bitch, you adding on this continuous situation, the continuous story. How dare you, bitch, try to fucking fool me? Do I look stupid to you? They're playing you. There's another one playing y'all for stupid. And y'all giving them money to play y'all for stupid. So are y'all stupid? I guess that's the question I gotta ask now. Are y'all stupid? Let me run that by you one more time. This chick is on her motherfucking live, taking donations daily, talking about you should have won. I'm gonna get into the point of abortion too, because I was getting ready to go into that a little bit further. But this woman is on her channel, her bulk of her material, and did I leave this out? She got her start. This is one thing I always find common about these toxic feminist chicks. They always, if you dig down in the back behind them, they always got a fucking man to help propel them to where they are. In this case, it was Dr. Boyce Watkins from Syracuse University that propelled Cynthia G. Nobody knew who the fuck Cynthia G was until she got on Dr. Boyce Watkins' network, which I have to say, Dr. Boyce Watkins' network reflects nothing of the material that woman puts on there. I've never heard nobody on Your Black World. I've never heard nobody on Boyce Watkins' show. I've never heard any of that. Boyce Watkins has said a whole bunch of shit that I didn't like. Whole bunch of shit that I didn't like. And one time, Boyce Watkins knew there was some owls on his ass, but he did nevertheless pander away for the message. And that I can respect out of him. A lot of other ones too. But a lot of these people that are out here and they're preaching to you, they got the solution. It goes back to an old construct of the days of old. It goes all the way back, and I learned about this in college because Prescott Bush, who was George Bush's senior's grandfather and George Bush Jr.'s grandfather, he got brought up with something right here in New York City. I believe it was 1942-ish, 43. It's called Trading with the Enemy's Act. Okay? Now the Bushes and all them, they went to college out of my state and lived out in Connecticut for quite a few years in New Haven. But which is a shit place compared to where I'm from, understand. But I digress. Shout out to New Haven and Yale University. But anyway, he got brought up with Trading with the Enemy's Act because he was selling steel to both Germany and the United States, okay? Or facilitating it through a bank structure here in New York City, right in Midtown Manhattan. Somehow or another, he beat them charges, but we never forgot. You understand what I'm saying? It's kind of like the same structure where people And what I mean by this is they sell it to two different motherfucking streams. She's pandering to white audiences, and she's pandering to a hateful female black audience. And the number one common denominator is abortion and single parenthood. Now you said some irresponsible shit once again to these young girls. Young women, listen to me and fuck what Cynthia G is talking about. If you want the key to not being a single parent, here it is. Guys, when they fuck, they have sex and they ejaculate. Okay, you should have learned this shit in 4th or 5th or 6th grade, but you was probably too busy running around the house, dancing real good, reciting rap lyrics, shit like that, like your mama and her motherfucking friends were doing at the time. Okay, if you're a little bit older, they was probably sitting around listening to Cooler Gang records, you know, Cameo and shit like that. All right? Ladies, listen to me very good. Look at my eyes and do you understand the words I'm about to say? This is going to be the most elating moment you're ever going to have in your fucking life when you hear this, okay? You alone can stop single parenting, okay? You alone can do this. And it only takes two things. One, know from the beginning. If I lay down with this man that I just met at the fucking club not even 20 minutes ago, if I get my ass over in this car seat, come on, let's keep it real. I was doing shit like that when I was 15 years old. If I bend my ass over in this car seat, this is where the conception of our next family could be from. I might have to explain this one day. Mama, where did you meet Daddy? I met him in the club and I was bent over. 20 minutes after. That's how you came along. So we love you nevertheless. We love you nevertheless. There have been family structures, or non-traditional nuclear family structures, rather to say, built upon the same ideology for now decades. And nobody has ever sat down, your cousins, your uncle, your granddaddy, and told these little girls simply, ask a motherfucker to wear a condom, or take your ass and get on birth control with your little fast ass at 12, 13 years old. And I'm gonna tell you a lot of you mothers, because I got two sisters, a lot of you ladies, when you first see them little bitties starting to come in, go kick my ass down to the OBGYN, automatic, even if she ain't doing nothing. Because the influence of some of these little motherfuckers that she goes to school with, I'm talking about your daughters, the influence of some of these nefarious, infamous, fucking sadistic ass little girls nowadays is going to maybe want to encourage her so she can fit in to do the same type of behavior. So ladies, it's very simple. Ask the man to wear a condom. Quit being so fucking elated by attention to validate you. You don't need attention to validate you. Some of you girls are some of the beautifulest women in the world, and you gotta fuck yourself up with these butt injections, you're doing plastic surgery now. You look like fucking Frankenstein, to be quite honest with you. I don't know where the fuck to piece you together. All right? So it's that simple. Birth control. And stop passing the blame on these guys because they're doing, have you ever seen, listen, we're part of the mammal family. To be more specific, chimpanzees and fucking orangutans share 98.9% of our DNA, all right? So there's subtle differences within our DNA, right? Have you ever watched a monkey fuck? A monkey will go around and he will fuck every female in the tribe for an hour. And every last one of them bras now got a baby by that one fucking leader monkey. And that's how the family moves out. Lions do this, rabbits do this, turtles do this. Every mammal you can fuck, oceanic mammals, fucking mammals in the sky, they do this. They all contrive in this behavior. We make up the mammal family. So this is what men are innate to do. This is no different than me having to go to the bathroom in 10 or 15 minutes from now. This is simple biology that most of you girls claiming that you're so educated should have learned, but you ain't figured that out. You know how to do thesis. Some of you girls have been so spectacular and finding out stuff that has to do with quantum science and quantum physics and all kinds of shit. But you can't figure out your own fucking biology. Your own biology. If you lay down with a man in unscrupulous sex 9 times out of 10, this is about decisions. And you're a bad decision maker. You're a bad decision maker when it comes to that point, fucking live with it. And the men that you're complaining about that you now have to date have been raised by other single women. And Cynthia G reiterates that not once, not twice, but 3 times an annum. Lady D, you must be new to this. Ain't no Mr. Davidoff. Yeah, they always try to come in with something. Is he homeless? Let us sit there. Lady, who are you referencing to? The Dusty who made this video. I'm a Dusty. Lady G, let me tell you this. I'm more accomplished than you. I'm probably more accomplished than everybody in your home, to be quite specific. No, I am not homeless anymore. I took the initiative and got myself together. 3, this jacket is London Fall. Just like the other one that left the comment. Let me tell you how silly these women are. The other one that left the comment, I was on between 5th Avenue and 6th Avenue, right? The Diamond District. There's a famous statue, and anybody in here, I'm going to go to some subway right now. Anybody in here, in this train station, as they're walking out the train, can reference the statue. Everybody knows the statue. One of these silly girls put, and I'm pretty sure it's a Cynthia G. Cynthia G has like 1,000,001 fake profiles. She does this to make herself feel good. You got to then ask yourself, what's the mental capacity of a woman that sits around and fucking does whatever. Now, 9 times out of 10, I'm pretty sure it's Cynthia G here, and I'm sure it's Monroe here. And I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, fuck both of y'all, all right? Because what you're doing is wrong. And any supporter that comes in for her, whatever, say what you want or whatever, you know what, at least donate. Or do you have it? Or you the Dusty? See, I've looked at the profiles of a few of these women that put some shit, you're Dusty, but look at them. Sweetheart, I was in Midtown Manhattan last night, paid for, ate very well. Sat in upscale places in Manhattan and across the nation. I could put up thousands of pictures if you like, with me with multiple different stars and everybody else. No, baby, I'm not a Dusty. You Dusty. Because you in my comment section. Where's your channel? And then when you go to that channel, you'll see that there's only 12 people following. And then once again, you see the ideology once again of these women pretending that there's something that they're not. Cynthia G was sitting in a 1-bedroom motherfucking apartment yesterday when she was being interviewed by Monroe. I saw that little tiny ass motherfucking apartment, bitch. My shit bigger than that. And I ain't got shit in my shit like that. But my shit bigger than that shit and nicer. Huh? Alright. Talking about money? Chick, I lived on the shoreline. Everybody that knows me knows this. I lived on the shoreline in Connecticut almost my entire adult life, teen to adult life, okay? I literally lived on Pequot Avenue. You can look this up. I walked right across the street, and not only is there a huge ass shelter where you can also cook in and there's at least 8 docks that you can park boats, jet skis, or whatever. These are long docks. Just look up right up to Long Island Sound. That's the way I lived. So when you're talking about somebody that's Dusty or whatever, I don't know if you know, but we had a huge pandemic here in not only the United States. I want to reference every state that went through it, but especially here in New York City. And I was back here in New York City for the previous 3 years, and I was working again in the music industry, interviewing stars. I put up some pictures with me and Chris Gotti and a couple other people, whatever. I just shouted him out the other night on Big Face Gary from Rockefeller Records. Shout out to Big Face Gary. You know what I mean? We are people that have been influential in the parts of working for these gentlemen that are high tier and everybody knows or whatever. So sweetheart, when you call somebody Dusty, know who the fuck you talking to. I'm not some guy that just picked up a camera and a YouTube camera and started talking. You understand what I'm saying? You're not talking to an unaccomplished man. You're not talking to a man that's uneducated or any of that. You're talking to a man that's actually versed, and I stand up for myself. And if you sit there and you tell us that we should agree with black male children being aborted, then bitch, everybody in my comment section should be eating you up and just validating everything I'm saying on this camera, you stupid motherfucker. Y'all hang y'all own noose. I don't have to tie for it. I don't have to tie for it. You playing checkers and chess. I play Monroe. Look that up. You've been getting played for the past 3 months and just don't realize. Shout out to the nigga West and a couple other people, man. Oh, we get you. You're messing with the right motherfucker now. Y'all ladies are used to getting online, talking all kinds of shit to everybody. Never worrying, hey, this guy might show up in my house. These guys might kidnap me, throw me in the trunk. I might not never be seen again. It's game to play when you get on YouTube and talk shit to people. A lot of curious things happen. I'm not encouraging anybody to do anything to these people. I just want you to pay attention to the diatribe, the words they say, the things they promote, and the things they say. These people are about promoting destruction, not togetherness. Someone of understanding would come into the comment section and be like, excuse me, if you say you about all that pro-black shit, excuse me, brother, what are you talking about? Why are you disgruntled? Can I help you? Can I help you understand what I'm talking about? No, these chicks are talking about live one way, move one way. She wants to talk about economics. She says that a black man and a Latin man can't lead the household or whatever. Meanwhile, women, especially black women, make 67 cents in my 99-cent workforce. Black women make up the most in unemployment and the most in debt from college loans currently in the United States right now. Now Google that right now, all the defectors, all the people that agree with her, Google that right now, what I just said, and tell me in the comment section if I right or wrong. With college loans, black women are more in debt with college loans than any other group or subgroup, gender-wise or racially, ethnic, culturally, in the United States. That means even after you get educated, you are lifelong in a life of poverty and debt. That's why you're looking for a husband to help you ease some of that debt. Nowadays, before women used to look for a husband for love. They're not holding me. Black women are the most enrolled in college. You may look that up right now too. There will be an article that comes up not only from Newsweek, there will also be an article that comes up on the education board itself here in the United States that will emphasize and read. You have not read enough. See, this is what I'm talking about. These people are not educated, so they don't understand the difference. They're pretending that they're educated. Most of these people have never went to college. Do not confuse someone that has been trained with someone that's actually been educated. It is two totally different things. When you are being trained, you are learning your curriculum, yes, but the curriculum you are learning is to execute the simple job that you do and repetition. You understand what I'm saying? Meaning that, like I said, and like I said, I'm not going to sit here and do the same thing, but I'm going to tell you the difference. Being educated versus being trained are two different things. A lot of people, even in the work office environment, and I worked at all of them, 1540 Broadway, the BMG building. I worked up at the 50s up in Interscope. You cannot tell me nothing about that. And I worked around people that were way higher criteria than most of these motherfuckers that are talking shit in my comment section. So you're not gonna fuel me up. The problem is that a lot of these women that are talking like this, the one common denominator that I see out of all of them is one, they're all in debt. Two, they always seem to always come from poverty. Three, they never had that much itself as far as life existed. Cynthia G is living in a fucking apartment telling people about money. You don't make sense. You're living in a one-bedroom apartment spewing like you're sitting back in some of the estates we have in Greenwich, Old Greenwich, Stanford where I live, Coscob. You're talking like people that live in our areas. And you don't. Bitch, you live in Seattle. And the co-host of Seattle. Stop playing with me. I did my whole entry with you. So when you get this mentality of people that think that they're intelligent because they read a couple things on fucking YouTube, listened to a couple things on YouTube, did a couple Google searches. This is readily available information. But to an untrained ear and mind, they don't know how to combine that information and make it effectively not only execute, but make it work for them and make it work effectively. That's the problem with many of these motherfuckers that get online and they have these diatribes. They have nothing to back up what they're saying. I don't want people to side with me necessarily because of what I'm saying. I want you to go look at the facts on your own, solely on your own, and from there, make a perfect example and make a perfect, contexture for yourself at that moment of what you think is real and what you see and what your perception is. Because the only thing I see and the only thing I hear is a black woman that daily gets online and degrades the black race and black men now, and says how you should honestly and truthfully abort black and black men because they're going to grow up to be nothing. But then I got to ask the question, like many of you ladies put out there, but your daddy black, but your daddy black, but your daddy black, or are you asexual like many of you ladies think nowadays, because you were alluding and talked about black gay men, but you didn't say nothing about black gay women, which was also interesting. Because when I walk out these streets here in New York and in the tri-state, I see far more girl and girl couples, no matter what the ethnicity is. I see far more girl and girl couples than I ever see black men and other black men together. I rarely, that's like seeing a midget. And I live in the tri-state. I don't look for it. You gotta go to certain areas and look for that. But I'm talking about this at a high stand. When I'm in Midtown Manhattan, you will see a girl with another girl. They date each other, they're with each other, that's what they do. Now, if you don't point that out, if you don't put that into protection, if you don't say to yourself, okay, that's an issue too, and you admit that from the conversation, like she totally admitted. And when I mean admitted it from the conversation, I mean she admitted it from the conversation. Where she sat there and she talked about black men, and she talked about aborted black children, and she talked about just sitting there and fully degrading the whole society. And I said, well, if that's the case, and you leave it up to women like you, Cynthia G, then what the fuck do we have left? You guys should be equally be ready to throw this bitch off the fucking bridge. She's worthless. Any woman that gets online and talks about aborting black male children should be thrown in fucking traffic. And a lot of the bitches is with her. Including the ones that's coming on here and loving. You guys have got to learn to be like, you know what? Fuck your pussy. There's better pussy out there. Fuck you, bitch. And this is why I stand. That's what you guys have got to do. You're pussy home. So your men are just as much to blame for the behavior of a lot of these bitches because you won't pussy. Be a goddamn man, nigga. Listen, go on motherfucking Wicked List, go on OnlyFans. The going price of a J nowadays around about $40, $60. Pandemic prices. Pandemic prices. All we know, Cynthia G might have a secret OnlyFans. This shit really bothers me. I don't have kids. And if somebody is listening and follows along with the rhetoric of this chick right now, whether I have a son or a daughter, this bitch is putting them at risk. If I have a daughter, the men are looking at her as, well, what's your choice is? If I have a son, that means she's gonna make a motherfucking public enemy number one even further than the George Floyd, his situations, Eric Gardner and his situation. All these are pre-led to this. So I gotta ask this motherfucking mammy, because that's what she had. She had a slave rag on her head. That's what rags that slaves wear. Slaves, indentures, she don't know nothing about history. She tried to talk about the Berbers and everything like that. Women that wear those rags around their head, there is cultural for dances, but they wear it in the domestic society, they're looked at as the help. Which you were, Cynthia G, you were the help. You helped a white man who was ready to help another white man create a portfolio of pictures of you so they could be used in advertisements for a white company called Pharrell. Did you forget? Did you forget? I ain't forget. You went and had a side baby by one of your viewers, but still you're sitting here telling people to abort their male children, or they should use the option of it. But abortion since the 1980s has taken the complexity of what have been a population of the culture, which now should be at 48%. 48%, this is from white numbers, okay? So I don't know what the actual numbers might even be larger than that. It was 400 million African Americans white. The numbers would have been at 48% in the population. Justly so. At one point, there wasn't nobody here but white Americans, black Americans, and the Indian American. All right, that's all that was really here. Everything else was just like a visitor, you know? Those population numbers got degraded to the percentage that they are right now, formally and mostly because of abortion and the practice of abortion. okay? Using this abortion is actually birth control. Now, if you look at the numbers of both black and Latin women currently by the CDC standards sitting at 61% for single-parent households, black women sitting at 72% for single-parent households, and white women sitting at a steadily 43% for single-parent households in this country. Only those numbers can be skewed because they are 62% of the U.S. population. Go ahead and look it up right now. If you can make something different of it, go ahead and prove it to me. You gotta prove it. Do not let these semi-intelligent, what my uncle used to call the pseudo-intelligent motherfuckers get on here and tell y'all anything or whatever. Band together like little punks and bitches that they are. Because trust me, in a real life setting, most of these motherfuckers that show you exactly who they are. I'm the same exact motherfucker everywhere I go. Hell, if I'm in an upscale environment, downscale environment, it's the same response. Fuck you. And you know why? Because I worked for myself. I made lots of money before I'm accomplished. I've lived the lifestyle. I don't have to do all that shit. Oh yeah, those are motherfuckers that are ambitious and don't have them talk like that. Motherfuckers that are ambitious and have nothing talk down on other people that don't. That's the people that do that. Trash. They're trying to prove something to you because they know in the seam of the totem pole. And I knew in the seam of the totem pole too. I worked for Puck. So we were here with him. And he's up here. You understand what I'm saying? And we knew the motherfucking pecking order. These YouTubers don't know the pecking order. Cynthia G, you're not Mr. Beast. You're not gonna blow all this. And if you do blow, you're gonna blow in controversy. And what the rest of the people in society, outside your little followers and all that shit, well, what they're gonna do is they're gonna tear you the fuck down. Chick, you'll be lucky when all this is over if you're able to work at a local Burger King at the 3 a.m. shift. See, this shit is on here forever. All the stuff that we record, all this stuff that we say. Like I said, I take the Italian approach, I guess there, the New England approach when I say that. I really quite frankly don't give a fuck. I will argue it down in front of the judge. Hey judge, listen, I'm gonna tell you like this. This woman was out here validating the fucking death of kids. I just couldn't take it. You know, and my PTSD, and you know, I got a cat, and you know. I'm not saying y'all should do anything to this fucking war, but what I'm trying to tell you is this. If you keep following her, if you keep playing this game that they're playing with y'all to take y'all money, and I want to emphasize one more time, I'm not going to break down everything that was in that fucking video because it was outright disgusting. And I guess I was more hurt, but it validated something for me. And I'm going to read some of y'all's comments today. What really hurt my feelings was there were no men that were piling into that motherfucking live yesterday and saying, yo, hold up, bitch. What? Nobody checked that bitch. Even you, Storm Monroe, you punk pussy motherfucker. You sat there and pandered to her too. You ain't no motherfucking man, dog. You a fucking coward. And you just put that in fucking perspective. I have no respect for you. Unless you show me something otherwise and you was really playing her, you know what I'm saying? Like my nigga, I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm gonna tell you small, I'm gonna tell you for real, right? I'm gonna tell you for real, like, don't pull it with me. Don't pull it with me. That's all I'm gonna say. We let this woman get on live yesterday and talk and degrade all types of men of color and talk about whatever she was gonna talk about. She talked about Latin men, she talked about black men, she specifically fucking aborted. This was a black woman wearing a fucking African garb on her head. And y'all was cool with this shit? Y'all didn't have nothing to say. It wasn't one fucking guy that could come from any fucking way and say to this fucking whore, you know what, fuck you. Nobody. Not one person. And then I got her little minions coming over to my page trying to validate her, talking about, won't you just go on and fucking and debate with Cynthia G? Fuck Cynthia G. I already said that 7 times. Bitch, fuck you, fuck your family, fuck your kid, fuck everybody else. What you gonna fucking do about it? What the fuck you gonna do about it? These two punk motherfuckers, Storm and her, streets, I need to handle that. Streets, y'all need to handle that. That's a problem. That's a problem. And if y'all too punk and pussy to do it, then just say so. Make a video about that. Say, listen, I like pussy too much. I like black pussy and brown pussy too much. If I turn up on one of them, I'm not going to get no more black and brown pussy. My bet is, I'm saying you're $40 or $60 with her. My bet is, and I'm saying, I bet you she's late on her fucking electric bill, and you will. My thoughts are saying, I bet you she ain't got no groceries in her motherfucking cabinets right now, so you will. My thoughts are saying she ain't got no gas in her fucking car right now, so at times where she will. My thoughts are saying, this summer, she's gonna have a fucking yard that's gonna have grass in it, and it's gonna need to be mowed. My thoughts are, she's gonna need a fucking oil change at some time or another. Because if you think in this fucking country for a fucking minute that you can eradicate your day-to-day actions and admit men from it, you're a fucking idiot. And any of these dumb whores that you young women are listening to, you need to start speaking against them. What the fuck, are y'all scared too? And I'm glad there's a lot of women out there that are starting to speak against these fucking idiot-ass women that are on there with this fucking shit. You women are ending up in a trajectory where you all gonna be living with a house full of fucking cats. Don't you get it? You ain't gonna have 4 motherfuckers to carry your casket. All this promoting introverts and all this weirdo, I want to be smart shit. Half of you motherfuckers that are pretending that you're intelligent aren't even intelligent. I went to college. You're not even intelligent. And you're intelligent in the conceptual point, maybe. But as far as execution and diatribe in normal society, I say that you fail every time. Especially after the motherfuckers that don't want to hear. So, like I said one more time, as this gentleman back here, I'm bothering him. I'm bothering him. But I'm going to keep speaking about black kids. This is what I do. And this is why I get thousands and thousands upon views to do so. So everybody doesn't understand that conception. And I respect other people's jobs. People respect mine. As we keep on moving forward and we keep on seeing these arguments persist, and a lot of older people are not going to understand, this is simply for a crowd, if I had to say 49 and down. Those are the majority of the crowd. If you're on the men's spectrum, a lot of men are 40 through 49, 35 through 49 that don't have kids. And this is what I was reading. So if I don't do this video right now, the voice of the actions of what she said might go further to fuck with my kid when I do have some kids, and I can't allow that. Because then that puts me in a situation where I gotta come outside and I gotta come out with a fucking rifle, whatever, and handle whatever the fuck I gotta handle because you're fucking with my kid. This is what actions, this is what dialogue, this is what consistent dialogue on a daily basis, what YouTube does to the ecosphere of people that don't live in this whole diatribe of fucking man-hating, man-bashing, and more specifically, hating on men of color. So if you are a man of color and you're listening to this and you're black or brown, I want to tell the Latin men too. You have a lot of women, like Mr. Nunez, that has a daily diatribe about why you shouldn't date Latin men. Latin men and nothing, socioeconomically, blah, blah, blah. Many people are familiar with her. This bitch has 1.3 million motherfucking followers. So if you want to sit around and you want to be like, oh, okay, it's okay. 9 times out of 10, 4 or 5 of those followers are your coworkers. Four or 5 of them motherfuckers are your co-workers. Ever been at work and be like, oh shit, you watch Mr. Beast too? Oh shit, you watch Rocket? Well, they watching some of these far right-wingers, some of these toxic feminists, and some of these toxic masculine motherfuckers. So, guys, I will tell you like this, right? Ain't nothing shutting me up, G. Nothing. And we could be in court, all that shit. All right. Last things last, y'all, because I'm going to let these gentlemen get to their work. Y'all know I do. I'm quick to have a motherfucking court. Quick. I have you garnished for the next 20 years. Done it before. You better have representation, and you better be able to afford representation. And your union ain't going to afford but so much for you. And on record in media, they're only going to defend you so much. If we take down the daily diatribe of Cynthia G, it still will not erase the fact that her followers are still there, and people that single-handedly agree with her are going to be there. So what I need more of you ladies to do, because men, We cannot track this on our own. I need you good women that are out there that have good daughters, that see the future in your good sons, and know better than that, Latin and black alike. I need y'all to get on this bitch. Because she'll listen to y'all because you're women. Guys, my name is Davin Lewis, and as always, I want to tell all y'all, love each other, but be skeptical of some. Love each other, but be skeptical of some. A lot of these black and Latin people out here, they will try to shut you up, even if you're trying to say something good, and they will highlight that for the negative. And that's what goes on with Cynthia G. They're trying to shut people up that oppose this woman in all of the negative. Because a lot of them, that's all they're used to. They ain't used to motherfuckers speaking out and saying something and getting attention for doing that. Senators, the mayor, the governor, all of them. Factory. So, you know what I mean? I don't have to do no explaining or anything like that. You fuck with me, you're gonna end up in the court. Clear as that. I don't do the whole nigga bopping shit. Hey, you know what I'm saying? Do all that shit from the witness stand. T Baby G, what's going on? He said dead on. Star Pepper said dead on. Yeah, they trying to drown me out. That's all right. We about to go back. I'm about to go back up to the spot today too for y'all, so y'all can check it out. We need respectful dialogue. I don't want no motherfucking. Let me say this very clearly as I'm reading off your comment. I don't want no motherfucking dialogue with Cynthia G, all right? I'll throw Cynthia G off a bridge before I have a conversation with her. The damage has been done. Y'all don't understand that? Y'all want to have all these motherfucking little... Some people you can't compromise with. Would you compromise with Saddam Hussein? Would you compromise with Hitler? I didn't think so. I got a cat. I'm cracking up. It's all Queen, you crazy. Gold Brooks, the thing on her head didn't have nothing to do with Africa. She just couldn't find her wig. Y'all crazy. Yes, please hit that like button. Keep searching, you will eventually find out. How we know Daddy Black, we never met the punk. How we know our daddy is stupid. Thank God for those Monopoly games, you're crazy. The encouragement does not cost nothing. Cynthia G just bought a new home. She bought a new home? Okay, so she bought a new home that looked like an apartment, and it was a little home. And she bought that home off the donations of her 83,000 minions and followers that also hate men of color. Y'all let that sink in. These bitches is getting paid off hating you. Dumb motherfuckers, what's wrong with y'all? Y'all better start listening to that. Look, Antoine King said pretty much. I'm black with an MBA, but a man. I just wish we could encourage each other. Drock, let me tell you like this, right? Give me 1 second to train passing. I don't want to be rude and not read all your questions. Listen. Drock, I will say once again, a lot of you guys, black and Latin alike, are very intelligent, whether you're collegiate in history or not collegiate, okay, or non-collegiate. The problem is you guys have developed this empathy, and it really comes from the slave days, whether it's in the Caribbean slave trade or whether it's in the American slave trade, okay? One was fucking colonized by the Spaniards, another was colonized by the English and French. They're still fucking Europeans, okay? Spanish is an Eastern European language, not a fucking one of this hemisphere. The fucking troops that came in from the Pinta Mayan and all those other ships that came in, all those were 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old sailors that were raping and pillaging. The Arawaks, the Tainos, the Aztecs. There's a movie called Apocalypto. If you've ever seen it, it's made by Mel Gibson, that kind of stuff. But he made this movie called Apocalypto. And if you watch at the end of the movie, there's these two born flagships of Aztec Indians, right? They stop fighting literally on the beach as they see Spaniard ships coming to shore. Okay? I am not interested, and you guys have got to stop this shit, okay? You're trying to live in the paradigm of whites and have debates and have philosophies and all this shit, and you're overlooking the history of whites, and somehow they just came out and just killed Puerto You overlook that part. You want to be civilized, but at the same time, you want to be assimilated. That doesn't work. You clash with each other. Class with each other. It's like the same thing I told people before. Capitalism and put it into a socialist system doesn't work. A socialism putting it into a capitalist system doesn't work. And one or the other is going to crash over each other. I'm black women. My sister is a teacher with a master's. Just saying. Okay, your sister's a teacher with a master's. Does she work for a black or Latin school? If she doesn't, what are you bragging to me about? I come from a family of engineers and army men. I don't, and I went to college myself. I don't see the comparison. Has she invented a cure for cancer or some shit? So it makes sense that they have most student debt. My black mother is a nurse practitioner. Okay. My aunt is a pharmacist. His aunt is you guys have got some real opulent people in your family. I'm not here to do comparisons with you. My mom is this, my mom is that. That's another thing that is of the nigger spectrum, I'm going to say. The nigger and poor white trash spectrum. I got this, I got that, I got this, I got this. Very rarely you hear the same people that claim they got all this. What can I do to help? What can I do to help? You'll very rarely hear people say that. What you'll mostly hear them say is, this person got this person got that. And when I hear that type of talk, I automatically know you come from absolutely nothing. At least as comparison as I am. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at it. I look at it as you come from absolutely nothing. Because a person that has to sit back and continuously talk about what they have is because they come from nothing. And now they're trying to celebrate the little trinkets and rag and tatters that they have, which is coming into nothing. I have people that walk past me sometimes, and they'll have less on than me. They'll be less educated than me. They'll live in a less than opulent area than me. And they will pretend, like literally put on an acting role as they walk past you of being something other than what they actually are. But when you break it down, no homie, you work at Burger King. I don't care how much you pretend. All right? The pretend is over once we get right here. I get you guys on that. Let me get one more question and then I gotta go, guys. Keep searching, you will eventually find out. Somebody put something. How do we know our daddy was black? Somebody said, keep searching, you'll find out. Pretty much. I'm black with an MBA. My sister a teacher with a okay, all that talk. Black women are also the most educated. Black women are the most enrolled. And I please encourage all y'all to go look that. Black women are not the most educated in this country. They're the most enrolled in college. And there's nobody that's actually taken that mantle yet, as well as the men. There's no most fucking nothing. Men, at the most part, are not even enrolling in college anymore. Most men are taking on traditional jobs that they did in the blue collar sector and everything else. It's a form of survival right now. All right, guys, make sure y'all hit up the Cash App. Make sure y'all hit up PayPal. It's in the description box. Appreciate it. TMH Global, I hope you like the first official TMH Global fund to get in this phone. So I want to congratulate him and thank him for that. This phone is fucking awesome. We're now doing 4K and 60 frames, so it's a little bit sharper. I'm here in the beautiful New York City subway system. So a man working behind me, y'all can't see that I tried to acknowledge earlier. You know what I'm saying? But got dismissed by one of them, but I'm glad we got the segue. But we want to respect the MTA workers. They kept this motherfucking city moving when nothing was going on. I remember getting on some of these subways down here and there wasn't nobody on them. And that was the first time in my entire life I had been on a ghost motherfucking train where there was literally like 4 cars with nobody. You know, so I was living here before I left and went back to Connecticut, which many of y'all know because I've documented my life during that time. Right here in this amongst the soul subway system here, you know, and yeah, man, these guys they keep it going. So let's respect them or whatever. I talk my shit. I mean my shit. I will have you ass in court, but everybody knows that. But I want to respect everybody and just get the notion that I'm not attacking Cynthia G. I'm attacking her rhetoric. Do I want to debate Cynthia G? Never. As far as Cynthia G and Storm Monroe, both y'all motherfuckers can fall off a bridge, and I hope the ambulance wreck come to pick y'all up. I'll be back with you guys in a little bit.